Hey there guys, it's Greg from Beastie Geeks and thank you so much for watching our channel. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. In this video I want to show you prototype of the game titled Boogeyman. This game will be on Kickstarter this year, and Boogeyman is a game about Boogeyman. The game is set in the late 80s and players are children who are trying to stop Boogeyman from, I don't know what, possessing everyone, taking control over the world. So players are children, they are trying to find clues and stop Boogeyman, but a part of Boogeyman they're also facing a babysitter. And that babysitter, Janet, I think that's her name, she can also be possessed by the Boogeyman and try to stop and do horrible things to the children. Game can be played in co-op or in semi-co-op, so all players can be children and Boogeyman is controlled by the game, or one of the players is a Boogeyman, controls the Boogeyman and also a babysitter and is trying to stop children from finding the clues and preparing some kind of ritual. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's see how Boogeyman looks and works. Alright, so that's the Boogeyman. I set up the game for 3 players, but the first most important thing I want to say is that is a prototype, so we have not finished components and rules, and you need to keep this in mind, especially that we will have minis, and over here we only have those printed standees on a printer, so just remember that. Before I will start play, I want to tell you about the rules of the game. The game is very simple. It's basically about rolling the dice and checking what kind of events or what kind of tests you need to face and just succeed them or not. So the game tells a story of children which are in a house with their babysitter Jennifer. And children are of course fighting with the Boogeyman who wants to devour them and I don't know what, so take control over the world or whatever. And there's also Jennifer, and the children doesn't know if she's a psychopath or she's under influence of the Boogeyman, or she just look evil because of the children's imagination. Whatever the truth is, you'd better stay away from her. So that's our second nemesis in this game. Our babysitter and that Boogeyman. So what children can do in this game? So they have 3 actions and they can spend them on things like, of course, moving. So one action is moving from one location to another. They can flip a light switch, because on every location there's that token with lighting bulb turned on and turned off, and depending on if the light bulb is on or off, different type of cards will be drawn. Of course, with darkness, the cards are, I think, much more punishing. So children can remove those tokens, and then they also can use their actions to search rooms, because in every room we have another tokens with items or things that children can find, and all of those things are stacked like this. So we have 3 elements and they can be discovered one after another. So main objective of the game is to find 3 items that will help children to banish the Boogeyman. And those objectives, those tokens, those items are on the bottom of each of those stacks. So players have to walk around the room or walk around the house, check every single room and find 3 items. So that's another action that they can do. They can of course make noise, and thanks to that they can lure Jennifer, because she of course needs to check out what children are doing. What else? Of course you can remove locks, because on the map there's an event or there's a situation where those lock icons will appear, and children of course need to remove those locks before they can search the room. So that's another action that children can do. They can also revive their fellow, because if one child will lose 3 health points, let's say, they will pass out. So those are the actions. And there are also 3 actions. 3 actions are using items that the children can find in a room. They can also use candy to change results on the dice, and that's it, more or less. Oh yeah, and they can also swap items if they are both in the same room. Every time children are searching their room, those tokens shows that there are items in the room that can be searched. So every time children are searching a room, you need to flip that token. And the other side, there's an amount of the noise that children are doing, trying to find the crucial objects. And that number shows how many locations the babysitter will move towards the source of the noise. So in this situation, if this child would, let's say, do this action in this room, Jennifer would move 2 spaces. And how we count them? Every space is actually a one location. So she would move to the corridor, that's 1, and 2, that's because that's another corridor separated with the door. So Jennifer would move over here after that noise. More or less that's it, because the whole game is about drawing cards from specific decks. There's a deck of items, there's a deck of encounters with Jennifer and with the Boogeyman. There are 2 decks with those light bulb on and off. And so it depends on if the light is on or off in the room. And there are also those 3 decks extra. One is a deck of nightmares, because every time children will pass out, the nightmare will happen, and that can be very punishing for children. There are also events and trouble cards, and those 2 type of cards are used in a little bit different way. Trouble cards are over here, they are marked on those 2 tracks. One track is for Jennifer and second track is for Boogeyman. So every time children will face Jennifer or Boogeyman, they will move by 1 on those tracks. And if that token will move to the 3rd position and 6th and 9th, and the specific card is taken. And in this situation, that's trouble card. Events are drawn on that track over there, on the top of the board, and this track over here shows where Boogeyman will appear. So I set up the game, and that's how the game starts. So we have first token on the first location over here, and that shows us that in this room, that we will flip in the Boogeyman turn, in this room Boogeyman will appear. And again we then randomly add another token. And on those tokens, as you can see, we have numbers also, and that just tells us where Boogeyman will appear, because every room is numbered over here. One extra thing, because as I said, that's a prototype, and I don't have enough tokens to cover all of whole of the house. And over here, maybe you noticed there's stairway, and it's also with the number. But I don't have enough tokens, so I just will count it as a hallway, and hallways are not treated in this game as a rooms. So if I will draw a token with number 16, I will just change it and for a different token. And more or less that's it. So when we will have 5th and 10th round, the event cards are drawn from those decks. And there is that extra one thing, every child has their own objective, they are secret, and they just need to fulfill them before the end of the game. What is very important to mention, that the game can be played in different ways, because you can play it as a co-op, you can play it as a competitive game, you can play it solo, you can play it in semi-co-op. So playing solo, I'm just doing it, I'm controlling 3 children. I can of course control 6 of them, but that's not the point. So I'm gonna control 3, and the Boogeyman is controlled by AI of the game. But if you are playing in a competitive mode, one of the players is controlling the Boogeyman, and he or she is deciding where the Boogeyman will appear, which cards are used. They are not drawn randomly. The Boogeyman player is choosing them. So it's very cool that you can have so many ways to play this game. And why I'm mentioning it right now, because there's one extra card with objective card, and this card is the possessed, and one of the children can be, let's say, traitor. That child is possessed, and that child tries to help the boogeyman. So let's start the game. I have three of the children. That's Tommy, the purple one is Daphne, and that's Layla. So let's start with, for example, let's say from the top to the bottom. Alright, so let's start the game. That's Tommy, and Tommy, he has three points of 3 action points, and I will use them to move, let's say, 1, because that's another hallway, 2 to move to the laundry, or I don't know what is it, and third action I will just discard that lighted bulb, and I'm taking the appropriate card. And what do we have here? Boogeyman attacks, so I'm taking Boogeyman card. The Boogeyman pushes you down the stairs, and now I need to just roll the dice. Its result is 5, so in 5 I get 1 candy token extra. So that's a good result for me. And that's the end of the turn of the Tommy. And now we are going to Daphne, and Daphne is also over here, so she will go, let's say, 1 and 2, and over here should be also a token with light bulb. What do we have here? +1 status. Nothing gonna happen because they are all maxed out at the beginning of the game, so that's just nothing gonna happen. And that's it. And now we are going to my last child, Layla, and she is, let's say, going over here again. Let's take this token. Again, Boogeyman attacks, draw Boogeyman card. So here it is. And what do we have here? The armchair. Shadow hands try to grab you. And again, I'm throwing a dice. So my result is 1, and that means I need to lose my 1 status, and that just basically is losing 1 health point, let's say. So I have those 3 health points represented by those cards, and when I'm maxed, I am super confident, so I need to change to, let's say, a little bit scared. And that's it. That's the end of children round. So now is the round of the Boogeyman. So we need to check what kind of token is over here. It's 16. So in room 16, Boogeyman appears, and that's unfortunately that's the way I told you at the beginning. So I just will change the room. It's 20. Where is 20? 20 is over here. So Boogeyman is over here, and now we have. And now I need to add another token, and children again can do their move actions. And as you can see, that the token with 20 will stay on the board till 10th round. So for the 10 rounds, we know that Boogeyman will not gonna appear again in room 20. So that's, let's say, safe spot to go there and check this room. But what is tricky about this room? It's a secret room, and the only way to get in there is to find a specific token. So that's it. That's the end of the Boogeyman round. And now again, children. So I'm gonna now use my first action to check this token. It's a 2. So Jennifer is moving by 1 and 2. She stays over here, and I can take my first item because I found something, and that's Bright Ball Castle. I'm meeting with the Boogeyman, so I can use this to castle meeting with the Boogeyman. So that's my first action. Second action, now searching again is not gonna be, I think, a good idea, because Jennifer will enter for sure. But I think I want to do it because I want to show you how this game actually works. So I'm taking it. It's 3, so Jennifer is entering the room. My actions are stopped, and I need to take this card from the Jennifer deck and meet her. And what do we have here? The Giantess. Jennifer seems titanic to you. And again, dice roll. So I'm throwing dice. It's 6. Nonsense. Draw a search card. So that's a good outcome for me. And I can take bunch of keys. Ignore the effect of an event card as long as it remains in play. So it's a very, very good item. And now I have only one extra action. And if I am in a room with Jennifer, the only thing I can do is to leave. So I'm doing this. Let's say over here. And now let's go to the next child, that's Daphne. She is over here, so now she will check this thing. It's with 1. So Jennifer is moving by 1 to check what this time Daphne is doing in different part of the room. And Daphne is taking 1 card from search deck, and it's Plunger. It might come in handy. Add +1 to a die roll. So if I want to use it, I don't have to, but I can, and the dice roll will be 1 extra. And again, I can do again this the search thing. It's again 3, so it's 1, 2, 3. And that's a bummer for Daphne. Oh yeah, I forgot to move this track because I already met Jennifer once, so I need to move it back over here. And now again I'm meeting Daphne, so it's now it's on a second space, and I'm taking Daphne card. Squeeze, what a beautiful firm cheek you have. And what do we have here? Roll a die, and if you roll on odd number, move the babysitter to an adjacent room and draw a boogeyman card. If not, +1 candy. And unfortunately it is an odd number, so I need to move her to the adjacent room. Let's say it will be over here. And I need to draw a boogeyman card. So here it is. It's a boogeyman card. The chilling scream. The displacement of air sweeps you away. And again, we need to show dice. 6. 6, lose a search card. Great. So Daphne lost her plunger. So those are 2 actions of Daphne, and the third one gonna be, let's say, moving to this. I don't know what's that, freezer, I guess, the freezing room. I don't know. And the last child is, what her name is? Layla. So Layla is firstly checking this token, it's 2. So that forces Jennifer to move 1 and 2, and we're taking item. Raptus. When you need to draw a search card, draw 3 cards, choose 1 to keep and discard the others. So that's her first item, and let's say she will gonna do this again, and it is 1. So Daphne, Jennifer is over here, and again I'm taking 1 card. Toy gun. Add +1 to the die roll when facing the boogeyman. So she's prepared to face a boogeyman with her toy weapon. And now 3 children have done their actions, so now it's time for boogeyman. It's 24, so 24 here. And again we have to add extra token over there. And that's how this game works. That's how it flows. But now let's say we have... so speed up a little bit. So let's speed up, and now he, let's say, moves to 7. Where's 7? Here. And then he moves to 5. It's here. And then he would move to 14. But before that, I am putting this over here. And over here we have that icon that we need to draw 1 card. Event card. And that event card is salt. Jennifer tampered with the food by making it too salty. Fusion system. Each player at the table will have to drink a glass of water. Anyone who doesn't immediately loses a status. So, as you can see, it's a little bit more interactive game than just rolling a dice. What else I want to show you is we have also those events over here, as I mentioned. So let's say children met Jennifer again over here. So I would move this token to the third place, and I need to draw that card. And it's a work in progress still. But what do we have here? Mess in the kitchen. The oven explodes. All children in room 3, 4, 9 and 10 run away. Each of them loses 2 search cards. Those who do not have 2 search cards lose a status instead. So 3, 4, 9 and 10. 4, 3, 4, 10 and 9. So over here we have a kitchen. There's a kitchen. Yeah. So explosion in the kitchen. Children are running away and discarding those cards, and if not, they are scared. So that's the event when the truck is moving to the 9th place over here. So those are the trouble cards drawn when you are meeting the Boogeyman or Jennifer. And let's see, what do we have here more? Earthquake, flip all light tokens in all odd numbered rooms to dark. The ghost in the cellar. All children in room 13, 14, 19 and 20 see the ghost and run away. Each of them loses a search card. Then those who do not have search cards lose a status instead. And again the same thing, but that's invasion of bedbugs. Here you are, the children in a room with the lowest number must draw a Boogeyman card. And events, the alien. During this round, everyone playing the children must cover their head with a hat, scarf or whatever they can find to prevent the alien from reading their minds. Anyone who fails to do so or who drops their headgear during this round immediately lose a status. So those cards are more interactive and force players to interact during the game. And now let's go to nightmare cards. So those cards are drawn where the child is passes out. And the only way to remove this card is just to revive the child. So for example, that garden gnomes, each child must discard a candy token. Repeat the effect of this card every time it's your turn. Discard this card when you are revived. So, and as you can see, Sleepwalker. Take an item from each child, draw a room token and place those items on the bottom of the pile in that room. Repeat the effect of this card every time it's your turn. And we can have werewolves, my treasure, insects, sleep paralyzes, draw a trouble card every time, saboteur, and premature aging. So those are the nightmares. So those are the cards that you need to draw when you're trying to remove the token with the lights off. And those are like this, so relax, so you can get one status card again. Place a lock token in your room, so suddenly you are locked. Some monkey is gonna go mad and you need to make a test. The bat flies in the room, and again you need to make a test. The bathtub and the monster in a bath, again you need to make a test. Dinner is ready, scary Jennifer is trying to make a fish for dinner, and so on and so on and so on. Terminator, Testo. So I guess it's a test card, it shouldn't be here. Is she a witch? How is it possible? We have a lot of events. They are very funny, but at the same time a little bit scary, especially if you're planning to play this game with children. Zombies. Children as zombies. Your friends have turned into zombies and are coming to get you. So it is a little bit disturbing, because it's you're playing a children and you're fighting a boogeyman, but on the other hand, those graphics over here can be a little bit scary, especially if you are thinking to play this game with a very young child. And the items that you can find, so it's a phone from Toy Story, I think, Walkman, paperclip, The Gathering, move all children to the room you are in, and it glows in the dark. Discard a Boogeyman or Babysitter card and draw another. Duck, cola, ragdoll. So those all items that children can find in a home. There's also Rambo. There's also Olivier. I guess the pets of one of the children. The Smurf, Jerry the mouse. A lot of cards. And this game is about rolling a dice and drawing a cards. So let's say children found those 3 tokens we are searching for, right? So let me find them. So okay, that's the first item. It's a battery. Those items are needed to defeat the boogeyman. So as you can see, the way to defeat the boogeyman, you need to have a battery, you need to have a lighter, and you need to have magnifying glass. And thanks to that, you can defeat the boogeyman. And how the final act of the game is played. So, for example, let's say children found those items, each of them one of it. So you need to randomly pick a room, so it's 6, let's say. It's over here. So that's the place of the gathering. All children with the items, with those crucial items, need to gather in this room and start the final battle, let's say. And when all the children are gathered in this room, the final, the ending is launched, it starts, and we have that book of endings. It's I only have 3 endings in here. I guess that book gonna be thicker in the final version of the game. So you are just reading the comics, and depending on which ending you triggered, you are going to go through those events over here and try to finally defeat, or I don't know what, with the Boogeyman. I guess let's say defeat the Boogeyman. So in here, let's say in the first ending, that fireplace, children are playing with the fireplace. You again trying to roll the die depending on what kind of roll you have. 1, 2, lose a candy. 3, 4, discard a search card. 5, 6, done, nothing bad's gonna happen, and keep going. So they are adding the wood to the fireplace. They're starting fire. They're trying to stop the Jennifer, and it appears that the Boogeyman was in this fireplace. And finally, everything is good, and everything is finally over because the whole house is burning. And that's the end of the game. And that's positive end of the game, of course. Here is a generator, and here we have the phone. And that's it. That's the Boogeyman, and that's the game. I wonder how the authors will, what the authors change in this game, because as I said earlier, and I will say it again, that's a prototype, so they're still working on this game and changing things, and they're adding extra graphics, because as you saw, as I showed you, we have few cards with work in progress text on them, and that's it. So that's the Boogeyman. I think it's a very fun game. As a party game, it's a fun. It's that deck of cards with interactions forces you to do something. So, and you can also be a traitor. You can be a traitor, and if you are playing that versus version of the game, not co-op version, so there can be a situation when 2 players, one as a Boogeyman and one as a traitor, are playing against the other players. So there's a lot of ways to play it, and I think there's a very big potential in these games. I think that variant where you are playing against each other is much better, because it's less, because the game is very random, and where there's a player who controls that Boogeyman, that a little bit changes it and removes that another random mechanic of appearing the a Boogeyman in the rooms, and you are not, if there's a player who is a Boogeyman, he or she will decide which of those cards will be played, and no, they are not drawn randomly. So let's say randomness is cut by a half, and that's it. So if you like this game, just follow their Kickstarter campaign, and let's see how they will go. So thank you so much for watching it, and see you in the next game.